so often people go into business and they love it at first, and then they feel captive by the very thing they thought was going to give them freedom. So you have to be very intentional with that piece, with what you do to help create those boundaries and that space for one another.
I think really talking as a couple too of what does winning look like for our life? How does the business interact with it? Because some couples like working more than others. You have to make sure that it's in a healthy place and your relationship with the business is in a healthy place and you're not pouring your life into your business and your life has become the business. For a season, it may be out of balance. Work-life balance is really a challenge. It's going to be intentional imbalance at different times where you are having seasons of you're putting a lot of work into it. We like to call it sprinting. Like we'll come back from a trip where we are stepping out for a little bit or we are taking a rest, and then we'll sprint for a couple months, a couple weeks, whatever it looks like, getting different things in place, getting systems in place, supporting our leaders, intentional hires, like whatever the case. There's a lot of different things that come up in those sprints. So we have times where we're working a lot of hours a week and sometimes we're not working a lot of hours. So that may not work for some people who like more consistency, but for us, it's a good rhythm. That's at a higher level. At a day-to-day level, there's different things that we like to do. So right now we're wearing different clothes. This is in our relax at home clothes. So I like to get changed for work, even though I'm working at home. And then when we clock out, even though we don't clock out, I like to get changed in the more relaxing clothes. This mentally, it helps me transition from that work mode to home mode. And it's still not these perfect lines that like we never talk about work after 5 p.m. Like sometimes we still do. So we give ourselves grace and we also are intentional with trying to have those transitions where, okay, now we're going from work mode to home mode. You're not always going to get it perfect. You're going to have times where it gets messy. And that's life. That's business.
Some of the things I have found that really help create some boundaries from a couple perspective that's also working together. I like one to create some margin. We spend time every morning going on a walk before we start our day, which means our meetings start a little bit later in the day intentionally to give us that margin in the morning to just connect, to get on the same page, to discuss our day, our priorities, personally and professionally, just really helps set the tone. Then, like Wes mentioned, when we're done for the day, kind of turning off the lights in our office, changing our clothes, transitioning more to home mode. I feel like I can struggle with this a little bit more than Wes can. So I often need some sort of pattern interrupt, especially with working from home. So what is a pattern interrupt? Well, it's changing and shifting your normal patterns to help get you out of one mode and into another. So for me, because we work from home, a lot of times my pattern interrupt requires leaving the house. So that might look like picking up our daughter from school if it's during the school year and then taking her to the park, maybe going on another walk, maybe getting ice cream. It doesn't really matter. I just physically need to do something kind of outside of our home to help shift from work mode to home mode. And then I'm able to come back and start prepping dinner and all those things. But I can struggle with that transition of working to home, and getting out and having that pattern interrupt is really helpful for me.
We like to say, wherever you're at, like bring the energy there, bring the focus there.